This has been dubbed a New England folk tale set in the 1600s. It focuses on a family who have been excommunicated from Puritan civilization for, I suppose, heresy. And it centers around their struggles, not just with everyday life, with that fact, living under that, but with a lot of unfortunate circumstances surrounding them and leading them to believe they may be cursed by some kind of evil powers. In The Witch, this is today's review. This request comes from Bore to Be Me. Thank you very much for your recommendation. I've been meaning to see this movie for a really long time. I heard a lot of great things about it, but I didn't really know anything about it specifically. I had no idea it was a period piece, for one thing. I remember seeing like a poster for it, and like blonde girl, something about the woods. So hey, it might be good. So I finally watched it, and you would think, this might be a good movie for 31 Days of Horror, horror movie marathoning, that kind of stuff. But I saw that they just added it to Netflix, so I had to give it a watch. Which kind of brings me to one thing. One, my experience watching this movie. Two, a big problem with Netflix, I'll say. So if I can get off the track for a little bit, I know I don't normally go on complete tangents, but let me just do that for a second. Kind of actually reminds me of a story about a movie, a different movie, Seven. You remember Seven, right? When making that movie, they were really struggling to make the ending work. They really wanted to go with the ending that, fortunately, that we saw, but studio heads, they were like, no, we can't have it end that way if you don't know how it ends. Just in case you haven't seen Seven, I won't spoil it, but you know what the ending's about if you've seen it, obviously. But studio was like, we can't fucking do that, man. David Fincher's like, no, we're going to make it work. So they had a test screening, and they give specific instructions to the projectionist, because I guess I'm not quite sure how it works, but I think there's like a trigger in film reels that make the lights go off and on at certain points. Like right at the credits, they automatically go on. There isn't some guy with like a switch going. So it's like all keyed in. They're like specific instructions. Give it a little bit of time. Once we hit the ending, just kind of let it stay dark for a little bit, then lights go on. And so they're recalling the story of the test screening. Then, like, the second the movie ends, it's supposed to be this dark ending, contemplative, whatever. Lights go right on, kind of ruins the atmosphere, which is kind of the experience I had with The Witch, because the movie ends on kind of a creepy scene. I won't give it away, but really kind of building up to it, and you're kind of wondering what's going on here, and then you kind of slowly realize what's going on. Then, boom, it cuts to black. And right when it did that, when I was watching on Netflix, it did that thing where like the whole movie goes up to the left-hand corner and it shows a preview for another show. It's like, hey, check this out on Netflix, Orange is the New Black, season whatever. And it like completely ruined the atmosphere of the ending. In fact, there is even some, there's like a title card at the end of the movie, so I had to like go back into the movie, like X out of the stupid preview. And I saw the title card, which said this is based on real accounts. Even some dialogue was taken right from journals and trial transcripts and things like that. So it's like, there's a serious problem with Netflix. If anyone knows how to change that setting where it like goes automatically to a preview once the fucking movie ends, I'd really like to know, because that just like ruined the whole thing. Anyway, let's talk about The Witch. I've been thinking about how to do this review, and I figure, just in case you haven't seen it, I won't do a spoiler review. So this will be fairly spoiler-free, but I'll give away a few kind of things here and there. It's a very atmospheric movie, that's for sure. It relies a lot on visuals and music as well. Like, there's some really great music in the movie, like really reminiscent of like The Shining, actually, where like the music goes up and it's so intense and it feels like this demonic choir almost, shrieking almost, which is great. And it is a very visually great looking movie. It does have that kind of period piece look to it, where it looks a little bit washed out. And the aspect ratio is kind of interesting too, because it's not like a full 1.85 whatever. I don't know aspect ratios that well, but you'll notice if you watch it, there's like black bars on the sides of the screen, just a little bit, so it's not quite as large of an aspect ratio as usually we're accustomed to. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, unique kind of look for this type of movie. So the movie looks great. Aesthetically, it's great. Very atmospheric, as I mentioned. There are a lot of standout, creepy moments. So one thing I'll say is, like, one thing that they always do in these kind of occult movies, even from The Shining, actually, speaking of The Shining, and like something like Lords of Salem, One thing that they try to really make you get creeped out is like showing like completely naked old ladies, which it's not given too much away because you see it like right at the beginning, then a little bit later, like it's like, this is a witch, she's naked because witches get naked and stuff. Here, check out this old hag. And you know, I guess it's creepy, but it was more creepy in The Shining because, well, let's not get into that, but I don't know why they do that in these types of movies. And like, you kind of feel bad for the actress. It's like, oh, is she a known actress? Is it a day player? Is she just doing this for like a SAG card? SAG card? But anyway, you kind of feel bad, but it's still very creepy energy. One very creepy moment, very effective moment, which I won't give, I'll just give you one word, a crow. It involves a crow, which is such a great scene. So just a very atmospheric movie overall. It's definitely a slower paced type of movie, which is kind of refreshing because you don't see too many movies really go for the slow burn kind of thing. So when those types of movies get released, especially a higher profile release like this one was, and of course, making it, you know, to the top of the barrel on Netflix, like underneath, like some really bad, like won't even go straight to video movies. That definitely says a lot, and especially because of the really, really good reviews that it's gotten, and I would agree with them. I don't think it's a great movie. I wouldn't like, you know, say this is 4-star excellent, but yeah, I like give it like a 6 or 7. Definitely a worthwhile horror movie, I'd say, and all through the movie, it does kind of work as a mystery. You're kind of wondering what's going on here, and some of it works, some of it doesn't. Like, some of the scares, they don't quite work the way they're supposed to, I think. Like, there's another great scene, without giving too much away. It focuses on the family, and there's mother, father, oldest daughter, son, and then the youngest, twins. Twins are fucking annoying, horrible. The younger brother, Caleb is the name of the character, I'm not sure the actor. He's pretty good, except for one scene. There's one scene that's supposed to be like a really, really dramatic and wrenching scene, but I don't know, it didn't quite work that well. But then there's a scene preceding that where he has an encounter with an entity that I thought was excellent. Like, you could see the look in its face, which is great. The main actress, her name is Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays the girl. She's great. I can't recall her being in any other movies aside from this one, but must be a very good debut for her, because I thought she was great in it, and very commanding presence in the movie, I'd say, and I think we'll see some good things from her in the future. Like, she is the lead of the movie, so she carries the movie, and she does so very well. Father is played by Ralph Ineson, who I think he was on Game of Thrones for a few episodes. So like any modern British actor has probably been on Game of Thrones at some point or another. He's great. His voice is fucking amazing. Like, that's how the movie opens. Like, you don't really see anything. You see just kind of like a black screen at the beginning, but you hear his voice. Oh, I can't do it, but it's such a great, like, how is he not like the most like iconic, you know, voice actor right now? Like, you got to think, you know, like Christopher Lee, he's gone, and the guy who was Megabyte on Reboot, he's gone. He was a great voice actor. This guy's voice is amazing. That's what I'm trying to say. And his role is really good. And the mother, Kate Dickie is her name. She's also on Game of Thrones. So like maybe this is Game of Thrones reunion. But she's very good. She has a great scene near the end of the movie that was really, really effective. So cast, except for at some points the middle kid, and at all points the annoying kids, really good. So it is kind of a rarity to see such a I doubt this is like $100 million movie or anything. Maybe for like $2 or $3 million they made this, but if that, it was very effectively acted. It looks like a big budget movie with its visuals and costume design. So it has a legitimate feeling to it. And also with the writing, which I think is superb. I mean, you can kind of put it aside. It's easy to brush it off and say, oh, well, they just took dialogue straight out of these accounts and things like that, which is true, but I mean, to put it in the proper context, I think takes a real discipline to the writing craft. And Robert Eggers, he wrote and directed this, and I haven't seen too much from him. I've seen nothing from him, actually. He's another talent to look out for in the future, hopefully with more movies like this. And I thought it was very well done. I thought it was a really, really good movie, and I would recommend it. I think it was effectively creepy in the moments it needed to be. Great visuals. There are some really standout scenes in this movie, and like if you've ever seen the cover of like a metal album, you always kind of think to yourself, okay, goats, they must have like something to do with Satanism, but I don't quite know what. Here, I'm not saying it gives an explanation, but it sheds a little bit of light on that. So there's a goat plays some importance in it. But yeah, a goat plays some importance in it. That's my review of The Witch. I really liked it. So thank you very much, Bim, for your recommendation. I enjoyed it and recommend it to anybody watching this. If you have a movie that you would like me to review, please comment below. On demand, this is what it's about. Tell me what to review. Tell me what to see. Tell me what you want to hear about. So, be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Dare237.com. And until next time, I'll see you later.